Let me see if I follow the logic here. Infinity Ward created a nightmare in Modern Warfare 3, and Treyarch for some reason felt the need to bring that weapon back for Black Ops 2. Yeah, let's just say I wouldn't have done that. Welcome to the MP7. Hello, I'm Raging Amish, and welcome to the MP7 in Black Ops 2. When I look at this game's primary options, I often scratch my head wondering what Treyarch was thinking. For example, I'm still surprised the developers made an assault rifle called the Type 25. A certain weapon from Modern Warfare 3 is still fresh in our minds. The last thing you want to do is annoy your fans by bringing up repressed Type 95 memories. Unfortunately, it would seem Treyarch took things one step further with the MP7. This gun was a nightmare in its past life. Bringing the MP7 back for Black Ops 2 would be like Treyarch sticking the AK-74U back into multiplayer. Like many of you, I saw the MP7 and immediately thought a new reign of terror would be upon us.
Now is the season of evil.
Thankfully, I can say that has not happened. Treyarch knew that to bring the MP7 into Black Ops 2, they would have to redesign the weapon for it to be properly balanced. We can all rest easy. The MP7 is back in name, but now it's a fair and balanced weapon. Wait a minute. That's the Fox News slogan. How do I put this?
Lying is like 95% of what I do.
If you're reaching for the keyboard waiting to accost me, I should also add, I'm not a fan of MSNBC or CNN either. I'll take the internet or local news or a mass televised media any day. I guess what I'm saying is I disapprove of all equally. Anywho, unlocked at level 4 with Create a Class, the MP7 is the first of 6 SMGs available in multiplayer. The gun is also the first of 5 to be fully automatic by default. In-game, the fire rate is solid. This particular SMG clocks in at 900 RPM, which is typical for said tier of weaponry. The MP7 does offer an alternate fire mode. With Select Fire, the gun can be converted into a 3-round burst weapon. The MP7 will be more accurate at range, but your average fire rate will be fairly low. I don't like playing this way because you're going to lose too much power. The MP7 is not designed for picking and choosing your shots. Instead, you want to spray because you have a large 40-round magazine which helps you sustain long streams of fire. Plus, with extended clip, that magazine will grow to a whopping 54 rounds.
That is a bit above average.
Since the MP7 comes with a big mag, that also means you get a big starting loadout. Per the standard, the MP7 gets 4 magazines by default, granting 160 rounds. Extended clip will up that even further, and grant 216 starting rounds. I would highly advise selecting extended clip. That extra ammo and capacity will come in handy. Your high fire rate and huge magazine comes at a cost though, as each individual shot is very weak. Up close, each hit will do 33 damage, and at range, the bullets will drop to a meager value of 18. When you do the math, you're looking at a 4 to 6 hit kill. This may sound weak, but you have to remember, SMGs have a high margin for error. You can afford to miss a few shots up close since you have a fast fire rate and a big magazine. Still, I cannot deny, the damage is weak, and as an added turd sprinkle, the headshot multiplier is weak, with a mere 10% boost. Up close, you can potentially reduce the MP7 to a 3-hit kill, but at a distance, you're going to need some luck. You'll still need 6 shots to kill, always.
Sometimes you just gotta say, what the fudge.
The gun does have a slight redeeming note. The range of your bullet damage isn't half bad for an SMG. The MP7 will drop from a 4-hit kill down to a 5-hit kill at roughly 18 meters, and drops to a 6-hit kill at 26 meters. For reference, the wall in front of me is currently 18 meters away. Now we're going to adjust. The wall is currently 26 meters away. I'm not going to say this range is great, but it certainly doesn't hurt. Moving right along, the MP7 will also pick up the standard performance attributes for an SMG. Your movement rate is fast at 100%, the penetration power is low, your crosshairs are very small, and the idle sway is negligible. The fast movement rate and small crosshairs give you notably strong CQC power, and you can dominate, provided you know when and where to take your gun battles. Keeping in line with SMG performance, your transition times are quick by default. The MP7 will aim down sight in 220 milliseconds and aim out in 200 milliseconds. This weapon will also raise in 600 milliseconds and drop in 330 milliseconds. All of these values are again very typical for an SMG, but do you want to hear some really good news? The weapon only gets better when we look at the reload speeds. Compared to other primaries, the MP7 has the fastest reload speed overall in the game. By default, the gun will refill its magazine in 1.72 seconds. If empty, you'll need 2.4 seconds to do a complete reload. For your add speed, there is some slight variation between the partial and empty reload, but the bullets enter the chamber typically in about 1.5 seconds. As you can guess, fast mags isn't needed on the MP7. The gun reloads insanely quick by default. Sadly, for your recoil, we're now going to do a complete 180. Most features on the MP7 are solid, but to put it kindly, the recoil could use some work. By default, the gun has a strong pull upwards with moderate kick from side to side. Close quarter combat is certainly manageable, but at range the MP7 will be near impossible to keep on target and actually bring down enemies. I'll say it again, this weapon is extremely poor when fighting at range.
Could be worse.
How?
Well, as bad as the recoil is, the default iron sights add another reason to stick to close quarter fights. The front and rear posts are visually distracting. Maybe it's the boxy shape, I'm not entirely sure. I just know that if I'm going to bother using the ADS motion, I definitely prefer using a sight attachment. Overall, I would describe the MP7 as a jack-of-all-trades type SMG. Your fire rate is good, the reloads are quick, and you get all the typical SMG tier bonuses. Your only real downside for an SMG is the lack of specialty. You won't match the up-close damage of the PDW or MSMC. The Scorpion has a higher fire rate, and both the Vector and Chikum have less recoil. I would definitely say the MP7 is a solid weapon, but the lack of a specialty is both a blessing and a curse. As such, picking the best attachments for the MP7 really is a matter of opinion. You can go in a lot of different directions because the MP7 is designed with high flexibility in mind. For instance, none of the SMGs are very good at long distance fights, but the MP7 can be decent in mid-range combat. With attachments like the long barrel and reflex sight, you can transform this MP7 into an assault rifle SMG hybrid.
Yeah, it's a hybrid.
I'll stop using that reference when it stops amusing me. Assuming you don't want the reflex long barrel path, I will point you to extended clip, an almost mandatory attachment for the MP7. Your reload speeds are already solid, so fast mag is pointless. Extended clip, however, gives you more ammo, helps you sustain longer chains of fire, and thus reduces reload frequency. The attachment is simply amazing. The only excuse you have for not picking it is if the attachment isn't unlocked yet. On the completely opposite end of the spectrum, however, a few options flat out stink. First, you should avoid select fire. SMGs need consistently fast fire rates to be good at anything. Select fire just doesn't fit. Also, rapid fire is really bad. On paper, you gain a 33% fire rate increase, but this will cost you 60% of your range.
Don't do that. I'm not kidding.
Moving into your perks, I would say stick with choices which help accentuate the weapon's high versatility and mobility. As such, Flak Jacket and Ghost are the standout blue perks. Flak Jacket will help protect you from those explosions which are impossible to see coming. Ghost also fits since it protects you from showing up on enemy radar. For Ghost to work, you need to move, and that won't be a problem with an SMG. For the green tier, I don't really feel any loyalties. Provided you do have extended clip, Scavenger isn't going to be needed. Any other ability in this tier can certainly help, but none stand out to me. And finally, for the red tier, I'd have to say stick with Engineer, Dexterity, and or Tac Mask. All of these abilities fit with an SMG's high mobility. Engineer lets you see equipment on the ground so you don't wander through claymores and bouncing betties. Dexterity is another solid option, as it helps you raise your SMG even quicker. And finally, Tac Mask protects you from the game's non-stop supply of shock charges. To round out your class, I would argue a secondary is not needed. Your high capacity combined with fast reloads should minimize the need for a pistol. If anything, I would say maybe bring a launcher like the RPG, but really a secondary won't be needed. End of the day, the MP7 is the most all-purpose SMG out there. Having played with the Black Ops 2 version for so long now, I still do think about this weapon in its past life. Thankfully, things are different now. The MP7 is not the nightmare we once knew.
I'm sorry I was whack.
I like this gun in Black Ops 2. You get a decent mix of speed, agility, and power, but it comes at the cost of a lack of specialty and iron sights that would make Picasso flinch. The weapon is highly customizable and can fit a lot of different playstyles. You can have success with a perk heavy class or an attachment heavy class. The decision is yours to make. That concludes our review of the MP7. Join me next time where we'll be taking a look at Blind Eye, and after that, the Remington R870 shotgun. Until next time, this is Raging Amish, checking out.